歡迎收睇美國專訊。美國維吉尼亞州一名高中教師並冇使用傳統嘅課程，而係採用不同形式嘅藝術咧去講授歷史。咁下邊係記者艾爾瑪斯利嘅介紹。
Good morning. Good morning. What's up, folks? Hey, how y'all doing? Y'all look weird. We're going to talk about some prevalent figures in African American history, some of the rock stars that we know about. We're also going to talk a little bit about some of the figures that we don't cover a lot. My name is Sean Miller. I'm a teacher and social studies department chair at South County High School. One of the questions that I get every year is, Miller, why are we learning about history? I was like, well, because hopefully we don't repeat the mistakes of the past. But the biggest point that I want students to get out of a history course is that they can literally make history every single day. Think about their identity. What contributions did they make to African American history? What contributions did they make to African history? And then also, what kind of contributions did they make to world history? So history introduces them to all these concepts, ideas, geographies, political structures, systems across the world. But the key of it is identity. If they understand the world around them, then they can start to see themselves with a little bit more clarity. What I find is that if I lecture to them for an hour straight, they're probably going to fall asleep on me. So the goal is to try to make real life connections. The question that I always ask students is, how does this content relate to you when it's all said and done? And the arts is a way to allow these students to explore these different concepts of history and then make it something that their own that they can take out into the world with them. This is our in-progress African American history mural. It was constructed by about 6 students last year in African American history. And we have about 4 students that are continuing that work. So it's a generational piece now. And what they wanted to do is combine historical aspects of African American history with some contemporary aspects as well. So this will be the first of hopefully many. So our goal at some point is to kind of take over this whole wall and have students from each year come in and add their own creative juices to additional branches of this mural to where we cover this whole wall. So the joy that I get out of it is just seeing that light bulb appear above their head, because they're always coming up with ideas. They bring comedy to the table. They keep me on my toes because I think I'm asking them trivia questions. They're asking me trivia questions about historical things as well. So I just enjoy being around my students, and they teach me just as much as I teach them.
下邊我哋介紹一名藝術家，佢曾經為販毒而坐監13年。咁佢喺在囚期間咧，對藝術產生咗興趣，並且以藝術咧係幫助佢適應監獄嘅生活。咁下邊係記者費多喺紐約嘅報導。
My name is Jared Scott Owens. I'm a visual artist. My practice is still developing. I'm incorporating found object. I have a background in ceramics and assemblage and some installation art. I went to prison for conspiracy to possess narcotics, cocaine. It was like my 5th year. I was walking through the rec yard and they had a ceramic program there. I mean, I remember that I did ceramics as a child. It was my first love. So I started going in there. I got the ceramic bug, which is a weird bug to get, but the ceramic bug is good because it's very Zen-like. So to take your mind off of, your situation. So I needed that. And then eventually wound up teaching classes, taking over a lot of responsibilities inside the ceramic room itself, teaching other guys throughout the years. I segued into painting because I always painted too. I had an easel in junior high school and high school. And then I started really looking at art in magazines, and I said, you know what, I need to paint. I understand the language, what it takes to do it. And I didn't have the material to do it, but I could visualize what it was to paint. How art helped me in prison was definitely a coping mechanism, but it was also an exercise in seeing what I can get away with while I was in there. I always need to feel like I'm breaking the law for some reason, and art made me feel like I was breaking the law while I was in prison without really doing anything that's going to get me in big trouble. Even making pieces inside, anything that was made to me was valuable because it was creativity in a place that was supposed to oppress you. That was the thing that kept me going, was the challenge to say, hey, I'm going to make it through this part of my life, and I'm gonna get home and I'm gonna have a practice. I studied like a lot. What paints are made out of, the materials, what the masters painted with, what they had, what they didn't have, the first cadmiums when they were on a canvas, like who's the first one to do that? Like I was interested in all that. I just think about my practice as it's just going. I don't really think about past, present. There's no linear aspect to anything that I'm doing. It's kind of like a lot of happenstances in the work, and I'm just going with the flow. I don't have a calendar that says I want to be at this point. Where will you be in 5 years? I try to live every day as if, what am I doing today? I might mess with this today.
多謝收睇美國專訊，下次節目時間再見。